gentle listeners. This is your buddy, Herb the Wizard, and I'll be ready in just a minute. Just let me find it on the dial.
Hi, friends. It's your old pal, the Dead Ranger. And while the supply lasts, you can stop in and pick up the armadillo recipe of the week. It'll show you how to cook 'em that secret old-time Texas way that locks in the juices. It'll show you how many parts you thought weren't edible actually are if you close your eyes.
Well, there we go. This is it. Get ready. We're going to start the show. Why, everybody, and this is your pal, Herb the Wizard, and I want to welcome you to this, our 66th episode of the Grubby Cup Show. Gee whiz, we're already on episode 66. If we were posting and that was yours, then we would be ready to retire or be in Social Security and that. Oh, time really flies when you're having fun, and we've been having lots of fun here doing the Grubby Cup Show for you gentle listeners, and I hope that you appreciate it, because if you don't appreciate it, then why you tune in to tonight's episode? That wouldn't make a whole lot of sense, but then again, maybe you've been at the magical potion, because I know sometimes when I do too much magical potion, sometimes I do things I otherwise would probably just think about doing, but wouldn't actually do. Kind of like when I talk. When I talk, sometimes stuff just kind of comes out of my mouth, and sometimes I think about it. Well, everybody get safe and relaxed. We're going to start the show. And now it's time to listen to a little bit of the wonderful and delightful Kelly Erickson, currently playing with Teaser.
Got some seeds to grow, he'll keep you in the know. Variety to claim, so baby, what's his name? He's the man to know. He'll make your garden grow. Grubby Cup's his name. He's the man who'll make a change.
Hello there, gentle listeners. This is your roving bard, Leaf Malone, reporting on the Grow with Grubby Cup show, brought to you by DFZ Radio at dfzradio.com. And here they are, the buds of the circle table.
Oh, see, it is I, Sancho Banza.
Good evening. I'm Alfred the Dungeon Keeper. Hi there, friends. This is the Irreverent Joe, and I'm Herb the Wizard. Psst, it's me, Vinny the Viper, the Sheriff of Riding Park. And I am your host, the Green Knight, Grubby Cup Stash. Thank you for joining us here on the Grow with Grubby Cup show. Brought to you by the good folks over at DFZ Radio at dfzradio.com. Let's start off with a list of upcoming events brought to you by grubbycup.com. On 6/20 in Maine, Urban Garden Center and Brewer is having a Customer Appreciation Day. Also on 6/20 in Michigan in the Upper Peninsula, UPGC is having a Growers Cup and Conference. On 7/26 in California, in the Los Angeles Convention Center, Maxim Yield is having their Indoor Garden Expo. On 9/12 in Maine, in the Urban Garden Center in Topsham is having a Customer Appreciation Day. On 10/25 in Massachusetts, the Heinz Convention Center will be having the Maxim Yield Indoor Garden Expo. In Boston, if you are a hydro shop and you've got a Customer Appreciation Day or an event coming up, drop me a note at grubbycup.com, Facebook, however you want to get a hold of me.
I'm not that hard to get a hold of. And let me know, and I will put your upcoming event on the listing, announce it on the Grow with Grubby Cup show, and post it to the front page at grubbycup.com.
Hello there, Mr. and Mrs. Jenna Reader and all the ships at sea. Now it's time for... The Grubby Cup is a portion of our program where we take questions from you, the general listeners, and read them here on air. Please keep in mind that plant that shall not be named shall continue not to be named, so please don't include it in your letters. Hey, Grubby, 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 I have a letter for you. Okay, Herb, well, what's it say? The letter is just Dear Grubby Cup. I'm getting ready to start some spring seeds. Do you have any suggestions? And the letter is signed Doobie Man. Can we say that on the thingy here?
Well, I'm going to assume that just means he's a big fan of the Doobie Brothers.
Oh yeah, Grubby, I think he's probably a pretty big fan, all right. I don't know if he listens to much music, though.
Anyway, back to your question. When you're starting seeds, there are some things that you can do to help, increase the chance of them taking off. Inside each seed is a little tiny plant, and the seed's basically a hard covering that protects that little plant and helps it stay in stasis until conditions are conducive to its sprouting.
Well, gee, Grubby, all right, what does that mean?
Well, that just means that there's a fully, all the parts of a plant that the little sprout needs are already formed. They're a little plant embryo, and it's in the seed shell. And what it's waiting for is for conditions and environment to cause it to sprout and try to make a new plant. And the things that it's going to be looking for may or may not be light. Some seeds care, some seeds don't. Moisture, because what it's going to do is it's going to draw in some water through small holes in the seed.
Well, gee, Grubby, if it pulls in the water into the holes, where's the water go?
Well, the material inside will absorb the water, and then by using hydraulic pressure, it will burst the sides of the shell open. And that's how the little seedling, bursts forth. It draws in water and pushes on the inside of the shell until it breaks open, and it's able to then continue to grow.
Well, gee whiz, Grubby, I think that sounds like that could be uncomfortable if you were the shell, but it's not like a mommy or anything. I don't think the shell really cares. It just drops off and it's kind of dead at that point. So, I like magical potion, Grubby.
Yes, you do, Herb. Now, one thing that you can do if you want to give your seeds a little edge is that since part of that process is allowing for moisture to be, sucked in, then one thing you can do to help give a little bit of a jump start on it is to soak the seeds for, a day or so. And what that'll do is that'll allow that process to start coming along faster, for that moisture to start building up faster than it would if it was just absorbing the moisture from its surroundings.
Well, gee, Grubby, that sounds cool. That makes sense because the little seeds, they need water to sprout, and if they don't have water, then they won't sprout.
Depending on the seed, like I mentioned before, they may or may not need light. There are a lot of seeds that don't need light to sprout. And they're looking for the right ballpark of temperature. and depending on the seed, you're probably looking at about 70 to 80 degrees is probably your ideal. It depends on where the seed species is from, what type of environment that they're used to. But, 70, 75 degrees is usually a pretty safe range in Fahrenheit to expose your seeds to help get them to pop.
Well, gee whiz, Grubby, but what if it's not that warm where I want to put the seeds?
Well, that's why some people will use like a seedling heat mat. And that seedling heat mat will help warm it. And that will help encourage the seeds to sprout. And just a little bit about the seedling heat mats. I'm a big fan of, if you're going to use a seedling heat mat, get one with some sort of a thermostat attached with it or some sort of control attached to it, because you don't want to cook the seeds either. You don't want it to get too hot. And so that way, if you're going to use a seedling heat mat, make sure that it's not damaged and check it every time you use it, because electricity and water don't mix, and if you're starting seedlings, the chances that something's going to get a little wet are pretty fair. And if you use some sort of a get no hotter than, get no cooler than type temperature control on it, then that can make sure that you won't cook the seeds, because it'll turn on and turn off as the temperature dictates.
Well, gee, Grubby, that sounds nice, and that way make it easier, because then you won't have to check it quite as often. You should still check it, because if they get too wonky, then that'll be bad, and they're little baby seedlings, so you should check on them often anyway, but it's one less thing to worry about, so that sounds kind of cool, there, Grubby.
Speaking of which, wherever you set up your little seedling station, make sure that it's not going to, that if things get a little damp, that it's not going to damage other things in the area, because accidents tend to happen sooner or later. It's just a thing of probability. If you do something risky long enough, eventually it'll catch up to you.
Well, gee whiz, Grubby, yeah, I know, it's kind of like when you play Russian roulette. Not that I recommend anybody play Russian roulette, but on the rules of Russian roulette, if you sit there and you keep pulling the trigger, eventually something bad is going to happen. So I don't recommend anybody do that, but I understand where you're driving at.
Now, as far as what type of growth medium you're going to use to start your seedlings at, you have several options. The little soil starter cubes are, that's a very popular choice. The commercial ones, they're kind of glued together better, so they tend to be a little bit more sturdy than the homemade ones. Or you can get a little press and get some soil, and you make it to, kind of a oatmeal-ish type consistency, adding a little bit of water, and then you squeeze it in the molds and you make your own, which has some benefits, because that's a cheaper way to do it. It's more fun if you like being the crafty, make it yourself kind of type.
It gives you an excuse to get squishy in between your fingers, because when you make it, you squish it between your fingers. And it feels really cool, and you really kind of connect with the universe and the soil and everything, and it makes it really kind of cool.
Yeah, that too, which is another benefit. The store-bought ones tend to hold together better. The homemade ones tend to be pretty fragile. You have to be gentle with them. But you can sit and, make a little session of it and crank out as many of the homemade ones as you want. We'll do another bit on those. I'll get my mold out and we'll talk about that. You can also use like the little Rockwool cubes. It's a to each his own. I'm not a huge fan of the little Rockwool cube ones, just because Rockwool has a tendency to stay really wet, and you kind of got to keep an eye on it because they get soggy quick. But that's a common way to do it, and there's nothing wrong with doing it that way. You just have to accommodate the peculiarities of the media. Or you can take some little of the regular, like little plastic drinking cups. If you take a soldering iron, you can put some holes in the bottoms of the cup. Soldering iron is an excellent way to make holes in those little cups because that particular type of plastic is made to be manipulated by heat, and it doesn't cut particularly well, which is why if you take like a plastic party cup and you just try to poke a hole in it, they have a tendency to split. If, however, you get a cheap soldering iron and you heat it up and you melt holes in it, you make nice, neat little holes, and you don't have the same cracking problem. No matter what material you use, you want to keep it moist but not soggy. And to help keep the moisture level up, you can use a humidity dome, which will set over the top of your tray, and that'll help keep the humidity up. You don't want it to get too humid again for the same reason you don't want them to get too soggy. And give them light. If they're the type of seeds that need light, even if they're not the type of seeds to need light, once they start to crack and come up, then they're going to need at least a little light. They generally don't need a real bright, intense light to get started, but they do need light for the plant to grow as the plant grows. And then you should have your little seedling started and ready for planting.
Well, gee, Grubby, that sounds easy enough. That sounds kind of like fun, especially if you make your homemade cubes, because I like that because I like the squishy way it feels. So I like transplanting, and I do pretty much like any activity that involves me getting my hands in the soil and squishing it around, because I really like the way it feels between my fingers. And sometimes I put between my toes, too, and you wiggle your toes in it, and that feels kind of good, too. But then you have to wash your feet afterwards, because otherwise you'll get your socks all dirty, and we wouldn't want that. No, oh, no, Grubby, look, it's time for commercial.
Now for a few words from our sponsors. The Grow with Grubby Cup show is brought to you in part by...
Well, hey there, everybody, and this is your pal, Herb the Wizard, and I'm here to remind you that the Heavy Tea Grow Show is on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The Beer 30 Show is on Mondays at 5:30. On Tuesdays, it's a twofer. You get a Girl in the Garden at 5 p.m. and Grow with Grubby Cup show at 6. Make sure to tune in to DFZ Radio for all your bizarre, weird, and odd programming.
You're listening to the Grow with Grubby Cup show. I'm your host, Grubby Cup Stash. You're listening to us on DFZRadio.com.
We're listening to DFZ Radio.
Hi, and welcome to Non-Specific Hydro.
Yeah, hey, I have a buddy of mine that was telling me about a great additive.
Okay, do you remember the name?
Yeah, his name's Steve. He's a good buddy.
No, the product.
No, he told me it was a super concentrated organic enhancer. Comes in a yellow bottle.
Well, it sounds like he's talking about Floralicious Plus from General Hydroponics.
I don't think that was the name, but he also told me it was a vegan bioplant stimulator that contained vitamins, plant sugars, amino acids, seaweed extract.
Yeah, that would be General Hydroponics Floralicious Plus.
I don't think that's it, man. He told me it was something like Dora Vicious Flush or something, and he said it was like an organic supplement that could also be used in vegging or flowering, and that was compatible with hydro soil and cocoa.
Yes, that would be General Hydroponics Floralicious Plus.
Oh, hey, man, I just remembered what it's called. It's Floralicious Plus.
Oh, good. I was drawing a blank.
Floralicious Plus from General Hydroponics. Ask for it by name.
We're listening to DFZ Radio.
You're listening to DFZRadio.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Grow with Grubby Cup show. I'm your host, Grubby Cup Stash. You're listening to us on the DFZ Radio Network at DFZRadio.com.
Hello, gentle listeners and all the ships at sea. This is your wandering bard, Leaf Malone, and now it's time for Meals and Munchies. Well, gee whiz, your Grubby Cup, I'm feeling kind of hungry. So what are we making today?
Well, the treasury level's getting kind of low and puka shells are in short supply. So today we're doing pork hocks.
Well, gee whiz, Grubby, well, what's a pork hawk? That sounds kind of scary. Is that like a hawk that comes down and it grabs the pig and flies off with it? That sounds like an awful big and awful scary hawk there, man. I don't know if I was going to eat that. I'd be afraid that there'd be someone who could eat me.
No, not H-A-W-K, H-O-C-K, the pork hawk. It's a section between the ankle and the knee, so to speak. Anyway, it's a very tasty piece of meat, but it's a very, it's got skin on it. It's got a lot of fat on it. It's got, it can be very tough. So you need to cook it slowly for an extended period of time.
Well, gee whiz, Grubby. Well, hey, look, here's Alfred, and he's bringing some.
Good evening. I heard that you were going to do some cooking, so I brought you some meat.
Okay, Alfred, thanks. And look, these are sliced little sections. They have the bone running through the middle of it, and like there's still the skin on the outside and that. And there are a lot of different ways you can prepare this. One nice thing about it is a very cheap cut of meat in general. And the flavor you can get from the meat is really nice. But it does take a little bit of preparation.
Well, gee whiz, Grubby, well, how you prepare it already?
Well, there's several different ways to do it. My current favorite method is that first you take them and you boil them. And you want to boil them for a good couple of hours. And what you're trying to get to is where it's easy to separate the meat from the bone, but not so much that it's actually, falling off the bone and falling apart. And so I would just do that in a large pot of water. And like I said, bring that up to almost a boil and then simmer it for a couple of hours.
Well, hey Alfred, how come this piece has a tattoo on it, Alfred? I don't know about that.
When you're preparing the sections to go into the water, first you want to go through and check and make sure that there's not any little hairs on it. If there is, then the traditional, the easiest, whatever method of removing that is just take a lighter and burn the hair off. It doesn't take much. You're just really singeing it off, and they'll curl up, and that's just how that's done.
But gee, Grubby, they won't allow us to have any layers in the studio anymore because they said that it sent the wrong kind of message. I don't know what the heck kind of message they think we're sending, but they said no lighters, so we got to use Smokey. Then, okay, well, here's one, and we were going to put it in the water, but it's got hair on it, and a Rolex. It's got a watch on it, Grubby. I don't know what this. Alfred scares me. What is the ham hock, pig hock, pork hock, whatever this is? Why do you have a wristwatch tattoo on it?
Just make sure that you rinse it off, take the wristwatch off, and get Smokey to burn off any hair that may be on it.
Okay. Hey, Smokey! Well, gee, Smokey. Okay, it's all off the ham hock, the pork hock, and it's most of the hair off my arm is gone too, and they look suspiciously similar in size, Grubby. I don't know if I'm gonna want to eat any of this after we're done with it. I'm starting to get a little scared.
Yeah, we may be ordering out for pizza after this segment. But the recipe's good. Anyway, so after you've cleaned, you've singed off any hair that may be on it, you've removed any wristwatches, that sort of thing, then just put it in the pot with enough water to cover. Bring it almost up to a boil, simmer it for a couple of hours. And again, what you're looking for is it to be cooked enough for the bones to be able to be pulled out from it and separated from it easily, but not so much that it's actually starting to fall apart.
Well, gee whiz, Grubby, the show won't last long enough for us to wait the whole 2 hours, so I'm going to use my magic wand. Jimbo's Fast Forwarders!
Hey, Herb, didn't you used to have a gal that played the harp while you did that?
Well, yeah, but she had to take another job because she'll make ends meet. And she'll hopefully be back, but, gal's got to do what she's got to do. So really, Grubby, I think you ought to let that aside and not harp on it.
Okay. Oh, look, it's all nicely cooked now. Okay. Anyway, so then what you want to do is scoop out the hocks from the water and put them on a rack and let them cool for a little bit. And really, you're just letting them cool for your benefit, because the next step is, once they're cooled, is to take a sharp knife and cut out and separate the bones, which should then give you, chunks. And as you're cutting them up, what you're trying to do is cut in a section of meat that has a section of skin on it and make them into chunks. So you can do kind of pie-shaped wedges-ish with the missing bone in the middle, that sort of thing.
Well, gee whiz, Grubby, that looks kind of cool. They got the little skin on one side, and they got the meat on the other, and those are kind of pretty.
And then what you're going to do is that by this point, the meat itself should be pretty much cooked. And all you're trying to do is you're going to put a little bit of oil in a skillet and heat it up to a medium high. On the medium side of medium high, but medium high heat. And then you're going to place the little cut chunks skin side down in the skillet in the oil. And because what happens is that when you boil it, the skin gets this kind of soggy, not so great consistency to it, that personally I don't really care for. But by doing this, by searing and cooking the edge of the skin what that'll do is that'll allow that to crisp back up. It'll turn a golden-ish color. And so it becomes more attractive to eat and adds a little bit of a crisp to it, a little bit of a crunch to it, which makes it nice. And then once the bottoms are fried, give a quick toast to the other sides of it, and then serve it with a little barbecue sauce on it. And that's the basic recipe.
Well, gee, Grubby, that sounds pretty easy and pretty cheap. I could probably figure out how to do that all on my very own. That doesn't sound very complicated at all.
And one of the nice things about this is once you've got the basic idea down, you can do it, several different ways. You can start adding flavorings to the water that you boil, which will change the flavor of it somewhat. You get a feel for what a nice, what size chunks you like to cut it in. Some folks will even do it as a whole piece and not cut it up at all any more than they have to. Some folks don't remove the bones. I tend to, because that way I don't have to worry about the bones as much afterwards, but that's a preference thing. And the flavor you can get, though, there's not a lot of meat on them, but the flavor you can get from the meat is really, it's kind of an intense, and it's a really nice flavor, especially if you pair it, like you said, it goes very well with barbecue sauce. It goes good with coleslaw, those sorts of flavors. And, and this is one of those dishes that, it started out as a peasant dish because it's a cheap cut of meat. And however, if done very well and you can get fancier and fancier with it, you can really turn it into a gourmet-ish type experience. That's this week's Meals and Munchies. Hope you enjoyed it.
Well, and now we're going to go do something else.
This program is brought to you in part by
Bud's Green Grass and Trimming Service. If you need your trees trimmed, call Bud.
You're listening to the Grow with Grubby Cup show on DFZ Radio at dfzradio.com.
You're listening to DFZRadio.com.
Botanicare is proud to introduce a revolutionary 3-part nutrient system that is the culmination of over 15 years of research and development. The Kind Plant Nutrient System. Designed by leading plant physiologists, this is the most versatile, effective, yet easy-to-use plant nutrient system ever created. It all starts with Kind Base. Kind Base contains nitrogen and calcium, but no trace minerals, magnesium, or sulfur. By placing those nutrients in the Grow and Bloom formulas, you have greater control over how your plants grow in your medium of choice. Using coco coir or RO water, just add more base to increase calcium levels. Growing in clay pebbles or rock wool, then just reduce the amount of base to ensure the proper calcium level. It's that easy. Kind Grow contains trace minerals and a proprietary blend of all natural ingredients to help maximize root growth, reduce internodal spacing, and create a lush canopy. Kind Bloom was formulated with the optimum phosphorus to potassium ratio. Your plants will have healthy branch and stalk development, accelerated flower set, and increased yields. Kind Bloom also contains magnesium to help improve photosynthetic efficiency, which is critical in accelerated growth environments. To put it more simply, Botanicare's Kind Nutrient System is the only nutrient system that is fully customizable to your kind of plants and medium. Botanicare Kind Base, Grow, and Bloom. Fully customizable. Any plant, any medium. For more information, go to Botanicare.com. Botanicare Kind. Make it your kind.
Well, hey there, everybody, and this is your pal, the Wizard, and I'm here to remind you that the Heavy Tea Grow Show is on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The Beer 30 Show is on Mondays at 5:30. On Tuesdays, it's a twofer. You get a Girl in the Garden at 5 p.m. and Grow with Grubby Cup Show at 6. Make sure to tune in to DFZ Radio for all your bizarre, weird, and odd programming.
We're listening to DFZ Radio.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Grow with Grubby Cup show. I'm your host, Grubby Cup Stash, and you're listening to us on DFZRadio.com.
And now it's time for a Buzz of the Circle Table.
And with me tonight is the Orange Knight.
Oh, hey, man. Thanks for having me, man. Because, you know, they're doing some renovations at the castle, man. So I need a place to crash for a while. So it was cool of you to come by, man.
Well, I'm always glad to see you.
Oh, hey, man. You know, I've been looking for something, man.
You still looking for Dave?
Yeah, man. No, man. I found Dave, man. I finally found him, man. And we're gonna start a band, man. It'll be Dave and me, man. It'll be our band, man.
Well, that's cool. I'm glad you finally found Dave.
Oh yeah, man. But you know, we need some instruments, man. If we're gonna be in a band, man, you know, we're gonna need to find some instruments, man. And like Dave's got, you know, something, man. He's got, I don't know, man. It was a guitar or drums or something. I don't know, but he's got something though, man. But you know, I'm gonna play bass, man.
Do you know how to play the bass?
No, man. But I'll figure it out, man. It's cool, man. It's cool. You know, but you know, the thing is, man, I got one and I put it down, man. But I can't remember where I put it, man. So you know, there's that, man.
So you're gonna play the bass, and you put it down somewhere and you can't find it.
Oh yeah, man. So you know, like if you see my bass, man, tell him I'm looking for him, man.
Wait, so you want me to tell your bass that you're looking for it?
Oh, yeah, man. No, man, because that won't do any good, man. You tell me, man. If you see my bass, man, tell me, man. All right, that'd be cool.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll keep an eye out, and if I see your bass, I'll let you know.
Oh, wait. You know what, man? Since, man, you're going to come and tell me, man, you know what you could do, man, is you could just pick up the bass, and that way when you come by, man, you know, you go, hey, dude, I know where your bass is, man. And I'll go, where, man? And you'll go, right here, man. And I'll go, wow. And then not only will I know where it is, man, but it'll be in my hands. And that'd be cool.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, if I come across your bass, I'll pick it up and I'll bring it to you.
Oh, yeah, man, that's cool, man. That'd be nice, man, because I'm going to start a band with my buddy Dave, man, and that'll be cool.
All right, well, good luck to you and Dave, and I hope you have a good time.
Oh, all right, man. Well, I got to go, man, but, you know, if you see my bass, man, tell me I'm looking for it, man.
All right, I'll do that. And that's all the time we have for this week's Buds of the Circle Table.
Flash, and now it's time for your moment of meditation.
Sit back, relax, let the worries from the day drift from your body. I know it's being trying, and I know that things are rough for a lot of folks. But take a minute and appreciate who you are, and let the little stuff roll off you, and let it go. And in with the good air, and out with the bad air. Yeah, as you exhale, I want you to just try it. Just let your whole body relax as you exhale. So get ready and in with the good air. And you exhale, just relax your whole body. Just, yeah, if you really relax on the exhale, you may get just a touch lightheaded. That's okay. Just go with it. And just take a moment and focus yourself and realize that what you're doing right now is you're living your life. You're experiencing what you're going to experience in your life for today. And tomorrow's a new day. And in with the good air. And out with the bad air. Okay, just take a moment and collect yourself and get ready to go on with the rest of the day, and we'll get ready and we'll go on with the rest of the show. Hi, this is Grubby, and I'm here at Urban Garden Center, and with me is
Mac.
And Mac, what are you up to today, and how is it going?
Today's going great. I'm picking up some new bulbs and staking up some plants down at my shop. It's going to be a busy day.
Well, very cool. And where are you at again?
I'm down here in Portland, Maine. We're at the Urban Garden Center on Warren Ave, 659. Come check it out.
Well, very cool. Thank you.
See? What the fuck are you talking about? That's fine.
So what should we do to reduce humidity if things are getting a little too wet?
Well, one thing that you can do is, as long as you're not venting CO2 from a tank or something at the moment, is you can bring in drier air from the outside and blow that across, and that will reduce the humidity if you are able to bring in drier air. Other alternatives are there are devices that you can get and plug in and set in your room that are dehumidifiers, and they will collect water out of the air, and that's an alternative.
Ew, I see. Well, thank you, Grubby
The Grow with Grubby Cup show is brought to you by... Would you like to have your company product or service announced here? Contact the good folks at DFZRadio.com and ask them about advertising on the Grow with Grubby Cup show or one of the other fine shows at DFZRadio.com. Also brought to you by Grow With Us Hydroponics. If you're in the Rhode Island, Warwick area and you need some hydroponic supplies, stop on by at Grow With Us Hydroponics. Tell them Grubby sent you. Speaking of the Rhode Island, New England area, if you happen to be in the Rhode Island, New England area, stop off at Grow With Us Hydroponics, Home and Hydro, or Three Guys Hydroponics, all of which are very fine stores in the Rhode Island area, all of which are carrying Grubby Cup's potting mix. If you are in New York, make sure to stop off at Harvest Moon Hydroponics in Buffalo and in Rochester. You're listening to the Grow with Grubby Cup show. I'm your host, Grubby Cup Stash. You're listening to us on DFZRadio.com.
Your garden's looking far out. You must listen to DFZRadio.com.
Well, hey there, everybody, and this is your pal, Herb the Wizard, and I'm here to remind you that the Heavy Tea Grow Show is on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The Beer 30 Show is on Mondays at 5:30. On Tuesdays is the Doofer. You get a girl in a garden at 5 p.m. and Grow with Grubby Cup show at 6. Make sure to tune in to DFZ Radio for all your bizarre, weird, and odd programming.
Hi, and welcome to Non-Specific Hydro.
Yeah, hey, I have a buddy of mine that was telling me about a great additive.
Okay, do you remember the name?
Yeah, his name's Steve. He's a good buddy.
No, the product.
No, he told me it was a super concentrated organic enhancer. Comes in a yellow bottle.
Well, it sounds like he's talking about Floralicious Plus from General Hydroponics.
I don't think that was the name, but he also told me it was a vegan bioplant stimulator that contained vitamins, plant sugars, amino acids, seaweed extract.
Yeah, that would be General Hydroponics Floralicious Plus.
I don't think that's it, man. He told me it was something like Dora Vicious Flush or something, and he said it was like an organic supplement that could also be used in vegging or flowering, and it was compatible with hydro soil and cocoa.
Yes, that would be General Hydroponics Floralicious Plus.
Oh, hey, man, I just remembered what it's called. It's Floralicious Plus.
Oh, good. I was drawing a blank.
Floralicious Plus from General Hydroponics. Ask for it by name.
We're listening to DFZ Radio.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Grow with Your Grubby Cup show. I'm your host, Grubby Cup Stash, and you're listening to us on DFZRadio.com. And just to take a moment for a little bit of, shameless self-promoting kind of thing. If anybody wants to hire a Grubby Cup, contact Grubby Cup. You can get a hold of me at grubbycup.com or one of a variety of ways to get a hold of me. Contact me through my Facebook page, etc. If you're looking for something to MC an event for a weekend, give a gardening class, give some individual consulting, that sort of thing, let me know. If you have something longer term in mind, let me know.
Well, gee, Grubby, it sounds like maybe somebody could be hiring Grubby Cup, and that would be cool.
Hey, Herb, do you think I should mention that I'm a genius?
Well, no, Grubby, because I think that sounds kind of pretentious if you tell people that you've got a really high IQ.
Well, yeah, but that's not really fair, because I get the short side of that. I get the, I don't interview particularly well, that sort of thing. So, I get the drawbacks from being a genius. I'm a little cracked, etc.
Well, yeah, Grubby, but you gotta understand that some people, they don't like it if you mention that you're really smart, because Well, for some reason, people don't like really smart people all that much. When you're looking to hire somebody. Oh, besides, like I said before, it sounds kind of pretentious to tell people that you're a genius. Well, just to be clear, what do you mean? Do you mean that you're like really just kind of bright cookie here or what?
No, I mean that I could join Mensa if I chose to. I have an IQ that's in the, higher than 98 to 99% of the population, depending on what test you use.
Well, gee whiz, Grubby, I still think that you're probably better off if you just kind of, kept that quiet as much as possible. And people get to know you, they pretty much figure that one out by themselves, or, so I go with your sparkling personality.
Yeah, nobody's ever really accused me of sparkling a whole lot.
Well, gee whiz, Grubby, watch you a marathon for Twilight or something and learn how to freaking sparkle.
All right, let's try that again. Hey there, all you gentle listeners. Welcome to a new program called Rent-A-Grubby. If you have some cash and you'd like Grubby to do some stuff for you, give me the money and I'll do some stuff for you.
Well, yeah, Grubby, I think that's closer. I think it still needs work, but I think you got, that's closer to the right idea. I'd go with that one.
Psst, hey, you. Yeah, you listening to the radio thing there. This is your buddy, Vinny the Viper. And I just want to tell you that some of these things that are going on around the country here, they're getting pretty scary. You got folks on one side and they don't got nothing to lose, and you got folks on the other side and they're trying to keep what they got. It's just a little scary out there, and so you stay safe and you make sure you take care of yourself, and when in doubt, duck.
Well, that's about all the time we have for this week. Thank you for tuning in. This has been the Grow with Grubby Cup show. I've been your host, Grubby Cup Stash. Until next week, peace, love, and puka shells.
We got some seeds to grow. He'll keep you in the know. Variety to claim. So, baby, what's his name? He's a man to know. He'll make your garden grow. Grubby Cup's his name. He's the man who make a change.
Hey there, everybody, and this is your boy, Herb the Wizard. And I'm here to tell you that we're getting ready and we're going to start another super secret, not so secret, hopefully this time, contest, because this time we want people to talk about it. But anyway, Grubby Cup is going to be having a couple of ugly Christmas ornaments, and they're going to be giving away for free if you enter the contest. So you keep your ears peeled, because pretty soon you're going to have a contest, and you're going to be able to win maybe a Grubby Cup's ugly Christmas tree ornament, and that would be a nice thing, because it'll be for free, and you just have to, enter the contest. So you keep your ears peeled, and because coming up, we're going to start another contest. Until next week, this is your boy, Herb the Wizard, saying bye-bye.